West Virginia, early 1900s, there was this town that didn't appear on most maps. It wasn't run by a mayor. It wasn't even run by a city council. It was run by a coal corporation. Every single house in the town was owned by the company. The school was owned by the company, the doctor worked for the company, and, most importantly, the general store was owned by the company. Now, imagine a miner named John. John woke up every morning before the sun rose. He went down into the dark, damp earth, and he swung a pickaxe for 12 hours a day. He risked his lungs, he risked his life. He worked harder than any modern CEO works today. At the end of the month, John would line up to get his pay. But here is the catch. The company didn't pay John in United States dollars. They paid him in scrip. Scrip was a special kind of currency. It was metal tokens or paper notes that had the company's name stamped on them. And do you know the only place where you could spend scrip? The company store. If John wanted bread, he had to buy it from the company store at the price they set. If he needed new boots to keep working, he bought them from the company store. The prices at the store were inflated. They were often 20 or 30% higher than in the neighboring towns. But John couldn't go to the neighboring towns. He didn't have real money. He only had scrip. John was trapped. He was working to pay rent to the same man who paid his salary. He was buying food from the same man who paid his salary. The money went out of the company's pocket, into John's hand, and then right back into the company's pocket before the sun went down. It was a closed loop, a perfect circle of control. John wasn't a free man. He was an asset, a machine that converted coal into profit, fueled by just enough overpriced bread to keep him swinging the axe. You hear that story and you think, that's terrible. I'm glad we don't live in those times. You think you are free because you get paid in dollars. You think you are free because you can shop at Walmart or Amazon or Target. You think the company store is a relic of history. I'm here to tell you that the company store didn't disappear. It just got bigger. It expanded. It became the entire global economy. Look at your life. You wake up in a house that is financed by a bank. You drive a car that is leased from a bank. You swipe a credit card that is issued by a bank. You work a job to get a direct deposit. And where does that deposit go? Into a bank. The names on the buildings have changed, but the math remains exactly the same. You are living in a closed loop. You trade your time for a currency that is constantly losing value, and you spend that currency on liabilities that keep you tethered to the job. You are the modern miner, and your salary is the modern scrip. This is the salary trap. And today, we're going to look at the 3D math behind why your paycheck feels smaller every year, even when the number gets bigger. To understand this, we have to talk about a concept called the money illusion. In economics, the money illusion is the tendency for people to think of currency in nominal terms rather than in real terms. Simply put, you look at the face value of the bill, not what the bill can actually buy. Let's say your boss calls you into his office. He smiles, he shakes your hand, he says, "Good job, Greg. We're giving you a 5% raise this year." You feel good. You go home and tell your partner, "I got a raise." You feel richer. But let's look at the reality. Let's say inflation, the real inflation, not the number the government reports on the news, is running at 8%. The price of eggs, gas, rent, and insurance has gone up by 8%. So your income went up 5%, your costs went up 8%. The math is simple. 5 minus 8 is -3. You didn't get a raise. You took a 3% pay cut. But because of the money illusion, you feel happy. You feel loyal. You stay at the job. The company successfully tricked you into working for less value than you did last year. They lowered your real wage while raising your nominal wage. That is the magic trick of the modern economy. If you are tired of falling for magic tricks and want to see the reality, make sure you subscribe to Greg Invests and turn on those notifications. I'm decoding these traps every single week, and you need to be in the briefing room. Hit the like button to help this truth bypass the corporate algorithms, and leave a comment if you've ever felt this pay cut yourself. Now, let's go deeper. It gets worse. Let's talk about the tax drag. When you get that raise, you might think you get all that money. You don't. You might get bumped into a higher tax bracket, or simply, you pay more taxes on the higher amount. The government is the silent partner in your salary. They take their cut off the top. In our parlance, we call this first lien position. The government has the first claim on your labor. You get what's left over. Now compare this to the corporation you work for. A corporation spends money first. They pay for their travel, their dinners, their cars, their offices. Then they pay taxes on what's left over. You pay taxes, then spend. They spend, then pay taxes. This simple reversal of order is why the middle class stays poor and the wealthy get rich. The tax code is designed to punish the salary earner and reward the business owner. Why? Because the government wants jobs. Business owners create jobs. Employees consume jobs. The system rewards the creator and taxes the consumer. But the trap isn't just about taxes and inflation. It's about psychology. It's about lifestyle creep. Remember John the miner? If the company store raised the price of bread, John had to work harder just to eat. Today, we do it to ourselves. We get a promotion. We make an extra $10,000 a year. What do? Do we invest it? Do we buy freedom? No. We buy a new car. We move to a bigger apartment. We upgrade our phone. We start shopping at the expensive grocery store. We voluntarily raise our own cost of living to match our new income. In our parlance, this is called the hedonic treadmill. You run faster and faster, but you never move forward. You are sweating, you are exhausted, but the scenery never changes. You are still exactly 3 paychecks away from ruin. You have just upgraded the quality of your cage. The system relies on you having a high time preference. Simply put, this means you want things now. You want the reward today. You are willing to sacrifice your future freedom for present comfort. The salary provides that comfort. It's a steady drip of morphine. It numbs the pain of your lack of freedom. It's predictable. You know it's coming on the 15th and the 30th. Humans love predictability. We are wired to avoid risk. The salary removes the immediate risk of starvation, but it introduces the long-term risk of obsolescence. What happens when you stop being useful? What happens when AI can do your job for 1/10 of the cost? What happens when the company merges and restructures? The miner who was paid in scrip had zero savings. He had zero assets. When the mine closed, he was destitute. He had nothing to show for 20 years of labor except a broken back and a pocket of worthless tokens. If you rely 100% on a salary and you save nothing and you own no assets, you are in the exact same position. You are building someone else's castle with your own bricks. And when the castle is finished, they won't need the bricklayer anymore. So, what's the solution? How do we escape the company store? We do not revolt. We do not burn down the factory. We do not stop working. That is foolish. We need the cash flow. The solution is to become a double agent. During the day, you are the employee. You smile, you do the work, you collect the scrip, you collect the dollars. But at night, you are the investor.
You take those dollars and you convert them into something the company cannot touch. You convert them into assets. You buy things that pay you. You buy stocks. You buy real estate. You start a side business. You build a digital product. You must treat your job not as your life, but as your venture capitalist. Your job is the investor funding your real business. And your real business is the business of your last name LLC. Every dollar you save and invest is a little worker that you have liberated from the system. That dollar goes out and works for you 24 hours a day. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't take vacation. It just brings back more friends.
There is a moment, a mathematical moment that you are aiming for. It is called the crossover point. This is the moment when your income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses. If you spend $4,000 a month to live, and your investments pay you $4,001 a month, you are free. You have escaped the gravitational pull of the company store. You can walk away. You can say no.
The power to say no.
The power to say no is the only definition of wealth that matters. If you cannot say no to your boss because you need the money to pay your mortgage, you are not free. You are a well-paid indentured servant. But getting there requires discipline. It requires you to look weird. It requires you to drive the old car while your coworkers drive the new Teslas. It requires you to bring your lunch while they go out to eat. It requires you to say, I can't afford that, even when you technically have the money in your account. You have to be willing to live like a monk for a few years so you can live like a king for the rest of your life. The trap is designed to be comfortable. The trap is warm. The trap has Netflix and Uber Eats and 2-day shipping. But look outside the trap. Look at the people who own the traps. They are not waiting for a salary. They are waiting for dividends. They are not selling their time. They are buying yours. History is a circle. The West Virginia miners eventually fought back. They fought for the right to be paid in real money. They fought for the right to shop where they wanted. You don't need to fight with guns. You need to fight with your wallet. You need to fight with your mind. Stop valuing the script. Start valuing the asset. Every time you get paid, ask yourself, am I buying my freedom or am I renting my slavery? The choice is yours. It always has been. But the clock is ticking. The mine won't be open forever. Get your buckets, get your shovel, take the gold, and get out.